deals with the border wall and Dreamers. Want to go to Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs. Congressman, can we really ever reach a deal? Because it feels like that window of opportunity is open, but closing also.
Yeah, it's going to be real hard, in my opinion, to reach a deal, Charles, because, first of all, everybody's talking past each other. Nobody even can agree on what DACA really is or what they really want. Do they want the clean dream? Do they want DACA? No one can come up with a way to fund the ball. I've suggested some ways, and the only person who's giving it traction is me, and so that makes it a little bit difficult as well. So I think it's very hard to come to a complete deal. I think the Democrats are using this as a wedge issue anyway, and they're trying to hope it. I think they want it to last past the midterm election, to be frank with you.
You know, when I saw a couple of weeks ago Representative Gutierrez, go off saying, hey, listen, I'll trade DACA for a border wall, I really thought that was going to be a seminal, pivotal moment in this whole discussion. Someone like that who has deep ties to these DACA recipients saying it's a worthwhile trade, and still Nancy Pelosi hasn't budged.
Right. No, she's dug in. I think she's recalcitrant. I don't think she's going to move. I mean, Charles, I actually thought that Schumer and Pelosi would respond to the president's offer during the State of the Union address, where I think the number he said was over 5 million people. And I thought, well, they're going to jump on that and go for it, but they didn't. And so we're kind of locked in. And I think that's why you're seeing some of the Dream folks, the DACA people, are now protesting the Democrats, saying, hey, you're not getting anything done. You're actually obstructing things as much as anything.
Yeah, I think they're playing a dangerous game, to your point. If you promise a certain constituent that you'll do something for them, and you have an opportunity to, particularly in this set of circumstances, they don't control the White House, the House of Representatives or the Senate, and yet President Trump laid out an amazing deal, a deal that no one on the Republican side was even anticipating. And still, you know what? Everyone said, okay, it's out there. Let's see if we can get it done.
Right. Look, I'll be the first one to admit I'm not a big fan of the idea, but I really thought it was going to come together then, and I'd be just a speed bump and they would roll through that thing very quickly. And so I've been surprised at the delay from the Democrat side. And I think it goes back to even the original DACA time when President Obama had both houses, including a supermajority in the Senate. He could have done anything he wanted to. And so instead of doing a DACA type of deal, they did Obamacare instead. If you were a DACA person back then, I think you've got to be kind of upset that it didn't happen. So they have a long history of broken promises.
Yeah, I mean, I think they like that wedge issue card more than actually delivering on a promise. Congressman, I also want to ask you and talk to you about David Shulkin, because a lot of rumors swirling that he could be replaced at VA, and this is something that you've actually been pushing. Why do you think he is the wrong person for the job?
Well, what I'm saying is this is as much a culture problem as much as an actual process problem. They're not delivering. They're not making deliverables. And I'll just tell you, it takes someone at the top to change the culture. Someone, quite frankly, who hasn't been in the system. And Secretary Shulkin came from the system. He's kind of wedded to the system. I think they need to clean out the top administrators. I think they need to get a new secretary who's coming in from outside, who understands that he or she is going to set the tone for that agency.
Right.
And you've got these veterans who've sacrificed so much, and they can't get good care. And in my own VA in Phoenix, we still have trouble. They're giving us lip service. But I could never even meet with Secretary Shulkin to talk about some of the problems.
And we've heard all the horror stories from that and so many others. What about, though, would this harm the notion that maybe an outsider, business-type person should be there to cut through the bureaucracy? And it was my hope that it would work. I think I agree with you, though. This particular experiment probably has run its course.
Right. Yeah, I don't think this is the way to go. I think we need to basically clean house at the top. There's a lot of good people, just like in the FBI when we talk about the issues at the top. A lot of good rank and file people trying to get things done. But in the meantime, you have veterans here who have serious illnesses. I mean, we have people who have cancer, or they have the threat of losing a limb or something like that. And I have to intervene. I have two people that's all they do is veterans casework in my office, and we can't get the results we want, and then we go to try to go above our local VA. We have trouble getting any kind of support or communication even.
It's a shame. I mean, it's a bewildering labyrinth big budget, and yet they just can't get their act together. Thank you very much, Representative Biggs. I always appreciate when you're on.
Thanks, Charles. Good to be with you again.
Well, meanwhile, Microsoft